Thank you all. It's going to be a good long day, and I can think of no better way to start this than we usually do, honoring people from our communities throughout the state that have done tremendous work for the people they serve. Honored today to stand to tell you a little bit about Steve Smith, a volunteer firefighter from the town of Vandenbroek. Steve was a friend of mine, good friend. We moved into our first house and our only house in the town of Vandenbroek a little over 20 years ago. One of the first people I met in the town of Vandenbroek was Steve Smith. Lived right across the street from me. Incredible as I got to know him more and more over the course of the years. I can't tell you what a great man this was. Family man, dedicated to his community and service. He was actually, and this might upset you guys, so he was actually the guy that got me into politics to begin with. So don't hold that against him. Way back in the day, Steve, as a volunteer fireman, we'd talk often about life in general, his interactions as a volunteer fireman, not only with the community but also with the town board. And at the time, the town board was not treating the volunteer fire department very well. And so, of course, you guys all know, I've got pretty strong opinions on things. And so I voiced them to Steve. I said, well, that's not right. You guys are volunteers. The town board should respect the work you do and work with you to make sure you can do the best job you possibly can. And the more and more we had these conversations, the more Steve looked at me, and finally one day he said, you should run for town board and fix this. And I said, you're crazy. I said, I've never been in politics, never really been involved really much in the party at all or anything like that. And I said, I just moved here. I said, and if you know anything about Northeast Wisconsin, especially that part of Wisconsin, if your name doesn't start with Van something or other, Vandenberg, Vanden High, Van something, it's almost like you're a Martian, right? I mean, a guy with the last name of Steinecke who just moved into this small town, I said, I don't really have a shot, but I'll give it a try. So with his help, I ran for town board and won, and that kind of started my life in politics. But working with Steve over those years I was on the town board to kind of correct the issues that we saw really gave me greater insight into his life, his service. One of the things that impressed me the most about Steve is, I think it was shortly after we moved into the house and shortly after we got to know each other, Steve was diagnosed with MS. And I think the thing that concerned him the most, not only about his own personal health, but was his whether he was going to continue to be able to serve the township in the capacity of a volunteer firefighter. And he did. For 20 plus years after his diagnosis, he continued to serve the town and serve the community and do everything he could to help people, even through all of his struggles. So I couldn't be more proud today to stand here to honor Steve, because he's a guy that all the way up until the end served his community, contracted COVID as a result of his service to the community, and unfortunately was taken by COVID in part due to his complications with his MS and his service to his community. So I hope you will all join me today in honoring Steve. I'd like to introduce his wife, Mary, his daughters, Samantha and Brianna. Thank you guys for being here. It's truly a life well lived and was well loved by many. So we'll miss him.